All right, well today we're doing 5-5, writing the equation of a line. Goal will be to write the equation given a slope and a point, and then if you're given a graph or a table to be able to write that equation as well. Okay, so quick review. I want you to write down what slope-intercept form is and write down what each variable means in slope-intercept form. All right, go for it there. Good, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And volunteer to tell me what m is. What we got for m there? TT? This is our slope, yeah. Okay, another way to think of slope is rise over run. All right, what's b? Brennan? Y-intercept. All right. So in order to write an equation of a line, you need to know the slope and the y-intercept. Okay? So when writing an equation in slope-intercept form, the two things you must know are m and b. Okay? If you don't know m and b, then you can't write the equation in slope-intercept form. So we need to know those two things. Okay. Any questions there? All right, so we're going to try some problems here, trying to locate m and b. Now, our last assignment is pretty easy. They gave us m and b. Okay? This one, we're going to... So taking a look, this is number 1 off your assignment today. It says write the equation of a line through the given point with the given slope. Okay, so we're given this coordinate. That means our line goes through 1, 4 and has a slope of 3. So those of you having a hard time visualizing that, think goes through the order pair 1, 4, and then it has a slope of 3, meaning it rises 3 and runs 1. And that gives us our next point. Okay, so we need to find the equation of that line. Now, just because it looks like it crosses here at 2, that's not really good because we know we actually have to go down 3 and over 1, so it should probably cross there. But that's not, the goal isn't to have to each time go through and graph these lines. We definitely don't want to do that. That takes forever to do. Okay, our goal is to actually use an equation in it. So if I think of the equation, y equals mx plus b, and I think about what they've given us, okay, they've given us an m, right? They tell us m is this. So if m is this, we can put that in for m right here. Now really, we have m. What are we trying to find? Yeah, we need to find b. They don't give us b yet. We definitely need to find it, but we've got m in. We can put that in, so now we have y equals 3x plus b. Well, can we solve for b? What would we need to know in order to be able to get b by itself? Bobby?
X.
Yeah, we need to know x. What else would we need to know? Trinity? Y. We need to know a point, x and y. Well, they give us a point. This point, x and y, lie on that line. So we can put that x in for x. So we now have 3 times 1. Oops, 3 times 1, not 3 times 3. 3 times 1. And we can put that y in for y. So that 4 there. And now the only variable we have left is b. We can solve for b. So 3 plus b equals 4. What is b? b is 1. All right, we subtract 3 from both sides. So b is positive 1. Okay. Any questions on what we did there? So we use what they give us to find what we're missing. Are we done with the problem? They've said write the equation. Have we written the equation yet? No. So let's put it up. Everyone write the equation. What would our equation be? All right. Chelsea, you have an equation that you can loan me here? Okay, so I'm going to put y equals 3x, good, m is 3, plus b, which is 1. Well done. Good work. Any questions on that? All right, I want you to try number 2. Okay, you can work with a partner if you like. Okay, so we're looking for m and b. Well, they give us m. We need to find b. So using our equation, y equals mx plus b, we're going to plug in the things they give us. So they give us m, they give us an x, they give us a y. So y is 1, m is -2, x is -3. Make sure you put parentheses, otherwise it looks like -3. Okay, so we have 1 equals +6 plus b. So b equals, subtract 6 on both sides, we get -5. How many got b equals -5? Good. So the equation y equals -2x, so that's our m, plus -5, or just -5, that's our b. Questions? All right. Why don't you try one more there? Try number 3. All right. Well, I'm gonna kind of set it up here. So once again, x, y, m. We need to find b. Now, I kind of alluded that there's a shortcut, but I'm going to go through the process that most of you went through. Y is 2, m is 0, x is -3. We get plus b there. Notice what happens whenever m is 0, this whole piece disappears, right? Because that's 0. So we're left with 2 equals 0 plus b, or b equals 2. How many got b equals 2 there? Okay. So now if I put that back in, I get y equals mx plus b. Once again, m is 0. So we have 0 times x plus 2. Well, what happens in this equation? Yeah, the 0x is gone again. So the equation actually y equals 2. How many got y equals 2? How many got y equals 0x plus 2? It would just get rid of the 0x, call it 2. Now, the thing I want to point out here, did anyone know the shortcut here? Okay, go ahead. Yeah, since y is already 2, think about your graph. So you should always start relating things back to a graph. You know that a 0 slope, everyone show me with your arm what a 0 slope is. 0 slope's this. It means it's usually only going through the, which axis? 0 slope is this. It's usually only going through y or x? Y. Usually only going through y. Which means in this point, if I have the point -3, +2, well, that's this point right here. If it's only going through the y-axis, it's going through that point at 2. That's our equation, y equals 2. Okay, so if you can think through and you go, whoa, this is a 0 slope, that's easy, man. It's just whatever. It's my y value. In fact, if it was undefined, what would the equation be? If it's undefined, what's your line look like? It's straight up and down. Which axis is it going through now? X. So if this was undefined, if we changed this up and said, hey, it's undefined, what's my equation now? Ready? Go ahead and tell your neighbor what axis it's going to go through if it's going straight up and down. Okay? Here are a couple of you saying X. It's going through X, right? So that means it's an x equals equation. In this case, it would be x equals, what point does it go through on x? Annalise? Yeah, -3. X equals -3. It would be going this way then, right here. If it was straight up and down, going through -3. Okay, so if you can think about, hey, picture-wise, this is what it looks like, then it's easier to write the equation. Now, remember that this problem said m equals 0, so it's not undefined. The x part doesn't actually apply to it. That was me just extending the problem. Okay, this equation is y equals 2. Okay. Any questions there? Take a look at your assignment. I'm going to give you time to kind of work through as much as you can on that 1 through 16 there on the front. Okay? Maybe about, 10 minutes, and then we'll kind of move on to the next part. Go ahead and turn to number 17. So number 17 changes it up just a bit. All right. Number 17, writing an equation given 2 points. Okay? So now, in the past, we were given the slope and we were given a point. Now we're not given the slope and a point. We're just given 2 points. Okay? So remember, to write an equation, you need to know 2 things. You need to know M and you need to know B. They don't give us either. Okay? So the process we could go through to find M, if you're given 2 points, go ahead and tell your neighbor, talk with your neighbor, see if you can refresh your memory how you find the slope if given 2 points. Right. Let's wrap it up. Can I get a volunteer? Tell me how to go through that process. How do we find slope? Go ahead, Caden. You got y minus y over x minus x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we've got our first x, our first y, our second x, our second y. All right, and we just have our 4 seats on our slope train there, dude. I know. All right, so we just plug in the pieces, right? So the first one is y2. y2 is 7. y1 is 4. x2, right? x2 is 5. And x1 is 2. So getting the things plugged in correctly, you may want to write that equation down on the top of your paper when you're doing those. 7 minus 4 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. Our slope is 1. Now, yesterday on your quiz, a lot of you wouldn't reduce. You're not reducing. Start reducing your slope. Okay? Want to reduce it. Get it in simplest form. All right? So M is 1. So now, we're kind of back to where we just were. We have this equation. We need to find B. Do we know a y value we could use? Mackenzie? Yeah, you can pick either one. So which y do we want to use? 4. Okay, so we're going to use this one. So since I'm using this, I'm going to circle that one. We're going to use 4. Now, with that being said, we have to use the x from the same y we use. Now, we can't just jump over here and use this x. We have to use the same one. So 4 and x is 2. What's m? M is 1, right? So we put our 1 in for m, and we got b, and we solve it. 2 plus b is 4, so b equals 2. B is 2. So there's our b. So if b is 2, m is 1, we have an equation of y equals m, or 1x plus b, which is 2. Do we have to put the 1 in front of the x? Usually we don't. We don't see that one. Okay, just keep it hidden. Y equals x plus 2. So there's an extra step, right? This part down here is the same. The extra step is finding the slope now. Now I have some students that are doing this probably because another teacher showed them it. I don't usually show it until this lesson. But some people show the slope doing this a bit differently. Rather than using this formula, in fact, I'll just leave it here on this one. I'll start the next one that way. Some students like to do the slope rather than using that formula. I see them doing it this way. You better really make sure you understand if you're doing this, okay? This is my y and this is my y, correct? Remember, slope is what over what? Rise over run, or what letter over what letter? It's y over x, okay? So if I go from y to y, how far did I go? 1 to 7 is? Think of a number line. Everyone? 6. 6. And then negative 2, or negative 1 to 2 is? 3. It's a positive 3. What's 6 over 3? That's our slope. Now some of you will really like that. You're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Okay, just go y and then to x. Just make sure the x is on bottom, y is on top. And the other thing to keep in mind, it's kind of a, it's not a formula there. You're doing this, but you're doing it kind of in a gimmicky way, which I don't show until we've used this formula a little. So if you like that, great. If you don't like it, you're like, that's too messed up, then don't do that. Okay, but here your slope is 2. Okay, once you know your slope, you use that and a value, an xy value, maybe your first one. It's up to you. It doesn't matter which one. Maybe you don't like the negative, so use this one. Okay, so I want you to finish up that one, number 18. Now I used this point for my xy. I know some of you are using this one. It should work out the same no matter what. So b equals, when you got b equals 3. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So y equals 2x plus 3. How many got that as your answer, number 18? Good. Now I use different points. A lot of you use this one, so it won't matter which one, as long as you use the same x and y. Okay. I'll give you guys some time to work on that page. Here in a few minutes, we'll discuss the last part together. Okay, so let's talk about 33. And from there, what we'll do on this is the very back page of today's assignment. So, can I see that too? So 39 through 50 we'll actually work on tomorrow. Okay, so that's not part of your assignment today, but up through 38. Okay, and you finished a lot of those. But now if you're given a picture, you want to find the slope and the y-intercepts. The slope is usually pretty easy from a picture, right? Okay, tell your neighbor how you would find m using that picture. All right, so Keegan, what do we do?
You find rise over run.
You find rise over run. So if I start at my farthest right point, and in this case, I'm going up, so I'm rising. Okay, so I'm going up 2, and then I'm running over 3. Okay, you kind of make that little right triangle, that stair step. So rise 2, run 3. Remember, slope is equal to rise over run. So now we have a slope. Okay, some of you I know don't like that, the 2/3 there. But now we need to find what? Y-intercept, yeah. Kind of been the theme today. We need to know our slope and y-intercept. So we need to know b. So in this case, our b, when you kind of look at it, you're like, well, it looks like maybe like 1/3-ish. I don't know. You're not allowed to estimate like that. You've got to use your formula. Okay? So we have to go back to y equals mx plus b and use a x and y value and an m to find b. So I want you to pick an xy value and use your slope and try to find b right now. Go for it. So you can pick a coordinate. Now I'm going to use my positive coordinate they have where both values are positive. That's kind of nice. So sometimes you'll have that. So an ordered pair, this point is ordered pair 2, 1. So that's an x and that's a y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in for x and y. So y is 1, x is 2, and my slope is 2/3. So I have 2 times 2/3 plus b. Well, 2/3 times 2, we've talked about doing fractions a lot this year. Remember, it's like having 2 over 1. So 2 times 2 is 4. Divided by 3, we just write it as 4/3. So that's 4/3 plus b equals 1. And some of you look at that and go, dude, that's still tough. Okay, well think of 1 in terms of thirds. So what's 1 times 3? It's 3. So 1 in terms of thirds is really how many thirds? 3/3. 3/3. So if I subtract 4/3 from both sides, I'm at b equals, what is b? Anyone? Yeah? Yeah, 3 minus 4 is -1/3. b is -1/3. Okay? Hey, we would have been right if we guessed, but definitely want to do the math. So our slope here is 2/3, y-intercept's -1/3, so y equals 2/3 x minus 1/3. Leave it in fraction form though. Okay, I'll be walking around answering questions. Make sure you ask if you need help, please. You're going to finish up through number 37 today.